Hello, this is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days. Beautiful family, thank you for sharing this moment with me and for your trust. We are opening this new calendar year, so I wish peace and true joy in your hearts. Going back a little bit so we can come back to the story. We've opened this new lunation in Capricorn just at the end of 2024 in beautiful synchronicity with the tradition of having or choosing to commit with intentions, with resolutions in a new cycle in a school, Capricorn, that actually commits to making things real, no? To consolidating with due diligence our dreams in a very Saturnal kind of weather from a flowing place, I would say, which is always an invitation to do it with maturity, with the commitment of knowing we inherited the privilege to create reality, and therefore we are responsible to become legacy. We are entering this like, I don't know the word in English, but it's like, like the spinning doors year, because we're going to have such a before and after of 2025 of what we experience as life, reality, or just our daily coming and going. I see it 2025 as a year that has precisely that, this very tender place where we are at the same time grieving and excited and opening up to the new energy. So it will require for us to close, to culminate, to say goodbye, to graduate, and also to connect with this audacity, this brave courage, initiative, and also vision towards the future. I think I've said this several times. I think it's an exciting year in the sense of like feeling the wave of new energy that is coming, and also exciting in the way of being deeply emotional. I think we are in for a very emotional ride, especially the first few months of this year. I just recorded the class for my membership on the shift of the nodal axis into Pisces Virgo. And I honestly, I don't know, I don't think we will have a moment as this in our lives with such a spiritual exaltation of awakening and remembering a sense of unity and transcendence with such creativity and mysticism. It's truly amazing, and therefore will also require a very aware and intentional connection to the earth, to our bodies, to grounding ourselves. It's such a strong calling us into coherence. In the first part of the year, not only will we have the North Node moving into Pisces, South Node in Virgo by the 12th of January, we also have Neptune and Saturn culminating their journeys there. And we will have Venus, who recently entered this school of compassion and unconditional love. She's going to retrograde from Aries to Pisces. And Mercury, he's also going to retrograde from Aries to Pisces at some point. So this is a little further down the road, but it's just to like paint to you the picture of how much Piscean energy we're going to have, which is this spiritual connection. And also, it's extremely emotional. I think we're going to navigate deep waters. Now, I think it's a deep exercise of surrender, of connecting ourselves back to the voice of our intuition, of the divine, of the sacred in all and everything. So yeah. Okay, we have crossed, and it's still vibrating in the ether, the second of 3 oppositions of Mars to Pluto, this time from Leo to Aquarius. It was perfect on the 3rd of January. The third one will be in April. So we know this opposition is very strong. It's strong tension, maybe still expressing itself in different dynamics of power, reactivity, impatience, intolerance. You'll let me know how you have been feeling this. I certainly have felt it. Because Mars in these circumstances, I see it like with extreme expression. So on the one hand, we could be feeling like such a lack of vitality, of motivation, of confidence, like revisiting insecurities. On the other side, it could express itself, or we could be feeling a need to like roar, which can be a very arrogant or self-important or just proud energy. This is on the shadow expression, of course. So I think the evolutionary intent of this is actually, Mars is retrograde, to have a reflection so we can reconnect to the original motivation of our hearts, like truly the original motivation that had us say yes to come and incarnate right here and right now, to connect ourselves back to our purpose and to our passion. Where do we want to put and invest our energy and our will right now? And also I think it's quite evident with this energy, which like very useless, I would say, battles we are still holding on to or fighting, and where we are being called to just let go of our weapons, of our defensiveness, and also where we are being called to affirm ourselves for our dreams, to present ourselves for this dream. It is a long journey with Mars. So I think the underlying invitation and part of the journey is that we are walking towards a genuine empowerment, a retrieving of authentic energy, and also knowing how we want to collaborate and contribute through our creative expression to the whole, to the collective. Okay, coming into this window of time this week, so Monday the 6th of January, aside from being the day of astrology, it's a big day. There's a lot happening that day. We have the quarter moon in Aries precisely, which is ruled by Mars. And this is the lunar phase where we are meant to take action on the intention we seeded or we saw in the new moon. Mars is retrograde, so I think there is a very strong invitation to having total integrity with these our resolutions. And I was thinking about this word resolution. It comes from what it means is the act of resolving. I think there's going to be a lot of that during 2025 of like, I don't know if it has the exact same meaning in English, resolving lingering stuff in our lives, because the word resolver, which is to resolve, it means something like to untie. So it gives me this flavor as well, like to detach, to untie, to order, and to decide. And that's where we are. And that same Monday, we're going to have Mercury at the very end of Sagittarius creating a square with Neptune in Pisces. And this is kind of blurry, it's emotional and it's also blurry in our heads. I imagine you have felt this, but more and more 2025 speaks of listening to other very wise parts of ourselves that are not our mind. No, we have our intuition, our gut, our senses, our body, and we might not have all of the clarity just at the beginning of the week in our logic mind, but we are certainly sensing something through this energy. And I do believe, though, even though it's the action phase of the lunar cycle, because it is ruled by Mars, we are still in this stage of planning, of having a lot of patience in the weather as it is. We can't really precipitate our action with Mars retrograde, because the other very important movement on Monday is Mars going back into Cancer. And this is a place where the warrior is going back into the waters, of emotion, of memory, of origin. Cancer is a school of home, family, it rules the spaces where we find belonging, connection, security, and nurturing. It is a warrior coming back home, I would say, but the feeling it gives me, it's more like coming home to resignify, to sort of put things and people in our systems in the right place where everything belongs. It's also an invitation to actually look into maybe some behavior patterns that we've inherited, so we can retrieve the nature and the beauty of our inner child, and to commune with our waters, with our sensitivity, with feminine energy. Mars becomes a lot more emotional here, more sensitive when going back to Cancer. So we will be going through maybe resolving some inner conflicts and processing, integrating deep feelings and emotions. I think we still have to be aware of a certain irritability in Mars because the opposition to Pluto stands, and we could have like a very big emotional reactivity. It is a warrior in Cancer that tends to defend what feels familiar and secure or safe. And we all know, we all know we are letting go of some familiar stuff. It's all changing. We are actually saying goodbye to familiarities so we can make room for this new energy. So let us be compassionate with the process, because we are in the build-up. It's early to talk about this. I will speak to this next week, but we are in the build-up to a full moon in Cancer on the 13th of January in conjunction with Mars, in a sextile, I think, with Uranus, and that's going to be big. I think, why? I think if we start managing and finding beautiful ways of expressing what we feel through creativity, and we become like a beautiful path of our own rivers for our feelings, emotions, then we can come into this full moon and have a very climatic, quite liberating experience. Otherwise, I think the tide will rise. And this is a powerful moon. It's beautiful. I mean, Cancer, the moon and Cancer are together, no? The moon is the ruler of this beautiful school. So it's going to be intensely emotional, but there is this coloring of freedom to it, precisely to free ourselves from familiar conditionings. So that's my invitation, I would say. Let's go soft and beautifully liberating, and like allowing for these waters to be cleansed, navigating our own emotional body with presence and with calmness. Once Mars enters Cancer, he's going to start weaving a beautiful trine to Neptune in Pisces. It's perfect at the end of the week. But this is like an exaltation. This is like the authentic spiritual warrior. No, so it is my action and my will in service to spirit. It's an invitation for such. But as you can hear, there's tons of water in the sky. So therefore sensibility and therefore intuition, no? And as I said, this is a year where we are mastering and retrieving the wisdom and the beauty of the connection to our intuitive knowing. Okay, another important thing for this week, and which I think it's going to give us a lot of grounding our ideas, is that Mercury is shifting schools or signs. He's entering Capricorn on the 8th of January, and I really do think this is going to allow ourselves to ground in a more practical way our ideas, our way of communicating, because Mercury in Capricorn builds with his word. And he's going to allow us to give a better structure and foundation to all that we are dreaming of, and also to become a beautiful container for all this inspiration, creativity, and emotions. It brings an opportunity to materialize initiatives and to resolve situations. So after Mercury enters Capricorn, I would say it's a good time to have those conversations, important conversations, because he rules thought, communication, perception. And look, it might feel like it was a long time ago, but it was just on the sign before, on Sagittarius, where he did all of his retrograde movement. So he's fresh here, no? He's coming into the school of consolidating dreams, teaching us to believe and create with this energy through still the stage of planning and strategy and becoming very responsible for what we are choosing to manifest. It's always important to be aware of rigidity with Mercury in Capricorn in terms of this is what I want and this is the path, and like we still need to have a lot of space so that life can show us different paths, and this is all throughout the year. Like, let's just stay flexible and curious about the how, but if you are connecting with a true intention for your heart, That's beautiful for this moment. And let us remember, we are navigating the lunation in Capricorn. Mercury enters Capricorn. We are like, for the first time, experiencing this school, archetypical school, without Pluto. So it's a great moment to say, okay, how am I going to rebuild, recreate, construct with an impeccable word? Okay, well, those are the big things for this week. I'm delighted to read you. Thank you for sharing. I am feeling myself like a contrast, like I want to open up all of my workshops and my sharing and like have so many ideas. And then on the other hand, I also just feel like laying and watching the grass grow and the clouds go by. So this speaks to me of the importance of listening to the rhythm of my heart and my body. And I will leave you with this now as an invitation. Let us be truthful and faithful to our rhythm and our own, wherever direction we are navigating right now, in terms of the 4 directions in the medicine wheel. It doesn't have to be because it's January, no? That we are in the all initiative energy. No? Let us be in connection with the truth of who we are now and honor that. May we offer ourselves plenty compassion and patience for our processes and everyone else's as well. We're going through big energies, and I hope we can find gratitude. We can be thankful for whatever is, whatever there is, whatever there is not. So we can always shift our frequency through connecting with gratitude of whatever is happening. And then we can notice the glimmers, around us and cherish them. In this very emotional, sensitive, and quite magical astrological weather, I also encourage us to embrace embrace the people we love, embrace like in presence people around us, so we can hold space for ourselves and for each other. So this, my sweet and beautiful family, thank you for listening. Blessings for this week.